7. Episode number 7. Sit down, Marks. Man, it's time to talk a little wrestling. We're only 2 deep tonight, man. We got one. Let me mute myself. There we go. All right. So, we're missing AJ tonight. He won't be with us here tonight. So, we're going to kind of just scale back the show here a little. We're just going to kind of cover everything going on in the world of wrestling right now recently. So thanks everybody for tuning in. I'm your heel host, the Dirty Bird. That guy over there, I always get that point wrong. From the land of the rattlesnake, Mr. Team Extreme himself.
Let's go.
Primo, Silver Fox.
The champ.
Champ is here. Still proudly representing the Kurt Angle Award for our WrestleMania Pick'em contest. So
every week you'll see it right there.
I don't blame you. I'd show it off too. Congratulations. So we encourage everybody here, man, be active in the chat. The sound alerts are on, so you guys can play with those throughout the night. Appreciate everybody tuning in and being here. Like I said, we are short AJ tonight, but we'll be back next week with a full show for you. Got a lot of things in the works here, trying to do some different planning. So we'll see what happens here in the very near future. So you guys stay tuned. Let's thank our sponsors here, man. First of all, www.coastlandapparel.com. Use that promo code BirdTV right there on the top. I got the Coastland Kraken shirt on today. No Coastland hat tonight, man. I got the AEW hat on.
That's right. I got you covered.
That's right. There it is. All right. Tonight's beverage, I'm going with, obviously Rowdy, but a little chiseled ice today. Cheers, sir.
Cheers.
Cheers to you.
Strawberry lemonade.
Oh, yeah. Man, that's good stuff. Thank you to Rowdy. Go check out my Twitter page right there at the top. There's a pinned tweet. You can use that link there to get yourself some Rowdy. So let's kick off this two-man show, Primo. What do you say, buddy? Let's go this day in wrestling history and birthdays.
This day in wrestling history, April 28. This day in wrestling history, I got 2 items for you today. 1995.
Ooh.
We had it was one of the earlier rare partnerships. WCW and New Japan Pro Wrestling partnered together for the Collision in Korea.
Yeah.
And the main event was Antonio Inoki defeating Ric Flair.
Ric Flair, yep. Japan's biggest star back in the day versus WCW's biggest star. Bischoff did a podcast on this not long ago, and I listened to it. If I remember correctly, it was a pretty bad pay-per-view. It was not. There was a lot of things that happened there. I remember there was some things going on with the booker there in Japan, and something with something about the booking. I mean, of course, the big thing was Inoki was going to go over on Flair, and they were supposed to do some kind of
Japan.
Yeah.
Also, they were in Korea, but still, something about the plane ride, and then I also saw on season 3 they're doing an episode on this.
Oh, they are. Oh, sweet.
Dark Side of the Ring. I'm sorry.
Dark Side of the Ring.
So, moving on, breaks my Texas heart to say this, but 2003 today, Stone Cold made it official in a WWE.com interview that he was retired.
Yeah, sad day. It's like you wanted Stone Cold to do it forever, man.
I know. And then you look back on it, and it's like, you think people like today, you think Seth Rollins and even freaking Cesaro. I was looking over this day in histories when he was Claudio in ROH. And that was
Castanelli.
There was one all the way back to like 2005 whenever he was on the card, and I'm sure he was on it before then. And you think at the height of Stone Cold's career, we only saw him in WWF for what 6-7 years, and he wasn't the champ, but a handful of times, really.
Sure, yeah.
So and then you had people come out later like Edge, he's 11-time. So it's like it's crazy, the tenure that people have today, and you're still like, well, you ain't no Stone Cold. So
right, yeah.
Moving on, that was our day. That was our day in wrestling history. We got our birthdays. 2 birthdays. 1979. You have the 2020 Warrior Award recipient Titus O'Neil from Florida. That's right. 1987, which makes this guy just a tad older than me. Drew Gulak. And that's our birthdays. That's this day in history on April 28th.
Love Drew Gulak, man. Watched him on the Indies a lot in Chicago before he got signed. He was he did a lot of it was the catch wrestling or whatever. But I always loved it, man, because he always came out to this 80s song, "Tell It to My Heart" by Taylor Dane. That was his entrance music. Do you even know that song, Primo? Tell it to my heart. Tell me I'm the only one.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, it's a total 80s, just unrelatable song, but it was just legendary, man. I loved it. When he come out, everybody would be singing it. And yeah, I've seen him some good matches, man. Honestly, probably one of the better like catch matches I've seen like that on the Indies. Drew and Matt Riddle, and then was awesome. And then Drew and Ciampa was very good, very good.
Those sound like solid matches,
Yeah, they are. And Drew, he doesn't, I don't even really know what his gimmick is right now. I know. Don't sing, but I was trying to get the song over to Primo.
It didn't come across right if you just say the words.
Trying to get it over, yeah. Anyway, but so. Gulak, he was like very serious. He'd always come out with like this like straight face, would never interact with the crowd or nothing. Total businessman, top to bottom, So yeah, it was that's pretty interesting. So, well, all right, guys, welcome to the show today, man. We're gonna get a lot of we're gonna talk about what's happening in the last week of wrestling. We're gonna kind of go over a couple little things that's going on in the world of wrestling. We are giving away stickers as we always do. Anybody out there in chat land that don't have stickers yet or hasn't got any from us, message me on Facebook, Twitter, anything. I'll be glad to send you some out free of charge anywhere in the continental United States, not anywhere outside.
Too bad.
Bro. All right. So, all right, well, I tell you what, let's dive into this thing for this week. AJ usually talks about AEW, so I'm going to take that over with him. So let's talk about what's happening in the world of wrestling. So we're going to start with AEW from last Wednesday. So start off the match, Adam Page and Ricky Starks kicks off the show. Hangman wins by like a choke submission. Pretty good going back and forth. Starks is, he's kind of playing this little pretty boy type gimmick, and so Hangman wins. Match is over. Taz stands up. He's over at the booth, and starts telling Page, that he's gonna that he needs to be aligning himself and watch his back and all this kind of stuff. Watch his back, and then Taz's son Hook, they're calling him,
right?
Jumps on Page, and then the rest of the guys come out, and then the save comes from the best friends, Orange, Trent, and I don't remember if Chucky was there or not, but anyway, but it was definitely those two, which led to the next match, which was Penta and Trent. Penta gives Trent a massive, mean package power driver. Yeah. It was nasty, man, and takes the win. So that was kind of the end of that. They celebrate going to the back. Next match, Tay Conti comes out with the Dark Order. She's ready to take on Sheeta for the title. So pretty good back and forth match. Sheeta wins, and then the real heat starts. Britt Baker comes out. I've been kind of waiting on this because I want to see Britt as champ. She's going to be a good heel champ. So,
DMD.
DMD.
Yes,
right?
You better get it right. She'll come after you.
Yeah, so she comes out. She shows the number one contenders list up on the screen. Tay Conti gets disintegrated. Britt's name goes up at the top, so she's basically like, I'm next.
Taking her, she's like, that's me. Yeah.
She's like, it's me. So
this is the way it is. Too bad.
Right. Yep. So Britt flaunts it that she's next and goes to the back. So next up, a promo for Miro, which I'm still trying to get used to calling him Miro. Still want to call him Rusev. So but anyway, he's saying that it's time for him to start collecting belts. He's going to start coming after all the champs.
He says, "Am I going to come after the TNT championship?
Yeah.
Am I going to come after the AEW championship?"
Yeah, he kind of alludes to he's going on a championship bender here. He's going
like the chase. He's going to start doing what he wants to do. Yep. Gloves are off.
So next up, Tony Schiavone is out there, or Schiavone, or whoever. Schiavone. He introduces Jericho. Jericho comes out. The crowd is singing his song. Man, I love this part of the show. I love it, man. It's just
every time.
It's just wrestling, man. That's just wrestling to me, man.
And it doesn't matter because it's Jericho. If he wanted to be a solid heel, he could ignore it. But right now he's not, so he can really. It's awesome when he embraces it. He embraces the crowd.
Yeah, man, I love it. So everybody's singing. So he comes out. He's cutting more promos on MJF. Calling him names and the pineapple and all that stuff. So basically, this is leading up to next week. He says, "Enough of the talk." Excuse me. We're going to go face to face. So tonight, tonight they're going to go at each or face to face.
What do you call him? My idiot friend or?
My jack-off friend.
That's what it's, my jack-off friend.
Yeah. MJF. So next up, Billy Gunn and QT Marshall. And I'll say this, man. Billy Gunn, God darn, he still looks as
always looks like a stud. Yeah.
I know, man. God, he looks like a New Age outlaw.
And he's a big dude. He's always been a big dude.
Yeah, man. Like he can just go, man. So anyway, he's putting QT over here. They're trying to build the aura of QT here. QT wins with a diamond cutter, so it's kind of moving into his finisher. Post-match attack happens again. Dustin Rhodes comes out to save the post-match beating, which, by the way, was like the theme of this show. It was like beat down, save, beat down, save, beat down, save.
Yeah, so, I like how. Well, I didn't necessarily like it, but no, I thought it was funny how Dustin came out with the bull rope, and then he was like, he never even used it at all.
Right? Yeah. He even like yells out like he's gonna swing. Most of the time they'll hit the top of the ropes with it.
Yeah.
Or they'll come over and act like they're chasing away or something. But yeah. So next up, Mox and Eddie are sitting in a truck. John Moxley.
Oh, yeah.
Sitting in a truck outside the Elite camper truck satellite area. When it shows them inside, they're all they're really starting to kick up the arrogance. The Elite the Elite.
Yeah.
The Elite. Kenny's standing there talking about traveling. The Young Bucks. They're looking prettier. They got sunglasses
their shirts
on.
And their
Yeah. So
looking all kind of just real like tool bags for sure.
Yeah, right. Yeah. The big over the top dastardly heels is what they're turning into. So this is kind of the start of it all. So anyway, Mox and Eddie smash the truck with the car. They go and run in there. They're not in. They come out. Johnny hits the window with a bat. So basically, they're not in there. They took off. So the chase is still on.
When I was watching that, when Kenny's talking, he's doing his monologue inside the truck, and they start honking, and then he's like, LG, look out the window. What is that? And then they're still honking, and Kenny's like, that's annoying. And then my wife can hear it too. She goes, that is annoying.
Yeah, right. She agrees with him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Next match was Powerhouse Hobbs and Christian. Christian wins with the kill switch. After that, Jade Cargill. It's kind of like they've been doing these little promos with her where she's like, I'm bad, I'm mean, I don't need no manager, but if there's anybody out there that thinks they can help me out or whatever, like she's open to it. So it looks like they're probably going to have a manager for her soon, and shows like Vicky Guerrero and somebody else kind of talking, like they're trying to like spark up a deal. So, but anyway, what about that stare down between Christian and Ricky Starks there at the end when he came out? Yeah, that was a little interesting. Probably the next guy for Christian, I guess.
Yeah, feed another one to Christian.
Yeah, if Christian's going to plow through Team Taz here, then
I was saying another thing too. That first match with Ricky Starks, every time one of his guys loses, he's just like Taz makes all the excuses in the world on commentary.
Yeah, he does. But I'll tell you, man, it's funny about Ricky because Ricky was in NWA. He was the television champion there for a little while right before everything shut down, for quarantine and everything. They were going to make Ricky a star. He was going to, like they put the tag title on him. He was like pretty boy. Basically, he's doing the same persona, maybe a little more, on the heel side. He was kind of a little more prettier.
To it.
Yeah. So. But he's got looks, man. He can go and can talk. So be interested to see what they do with him. But all right, so main event time: Jungle Boy against Darby Allin for the TNT title. Darby with Sting, should I say? Very good match. They're going back and forth, trying a bunch of different things. There was a lot of stiff, hard shots and slams, I thought, throughout this match. Darby ends up getting the win, but the thing about the thing was Luchasaurus and Sting kind of lock it up awkwardly, and they kind of like shuffle to the back, So they like go to the back, and then they're like, we thought they were going to show them piling it out in the back, but nothing, and then so Darby wins. Post match, Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page come out. They attack Darby. Out comes Lance Archer, which was weird. So Lance Archer comes out. I'm sure this is all part of the storyline, but Lance Archer comes out, and they low blow Lance, and so it looks like they're about to give him the business. And Sting comes out and saves Lance with the bat, and and they retreat. And show is over, folks. And
that's a whole confusing storyline.
They're doing something between Lance and Sting there. Seems like the way they're going. But anyway, so that leaves that kind of open, and then they advertise May the 5th as Blood and Guts. Excuse me, the next pay-per-view. So,
what I like about AEW is that it has that. Like when they do their matches, it has the old school feel of it because they're like, this match has a 10-minute time limit, or like the Darby and Jungle Boy, it was just TV time. It was till the TV. That stuff's pretty cool.
Yeah, and that's the way they did it back in the day. When it was almost like 20 time limit, or 20-minute time limit. Yeah. So that is AEW for tonight. I think AEW tonight is going to be good because I talked about like it was, beat down, save, and then they finished it with a beat down, save. So blow-offs or set up for the blow-offs of those is coming up. So that was Wednesday.
Inner Circle.
Yeah. Thursday after was Impact. Now, Impact Wrestling is on Thursday now on Access TV. That's channel 340 on DirecTV. But I don't know if Access is on any other cable. I'm assuming it probably is. I mean, it's just always been on DirecTV, and that's what I got. So, I don't know. All right, so Impact, this is the go-home show heading into Rebellion, which was last Saturday night. So, nothing really happened. It was a lot of promos, pre-taped segments. So anyway, start off the show, Good Brothers beat Decay. And then it was a pretty quick match. They put on a promo for Finn Juice that they are getting their titles back at Rebellion, blah, 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 blah. You guys have been flaunting our belts. They're ours, kind of deal. And they almost kind of alluded to, it was like they said something around about like, we're going to take your titles and go show them off in your land kind of deal. So,
right. Like so, they're going to travel around.
Yeah. So, next up was Tennille Dashwood and Deonna Purrazzo. They're wrestling each other at Rebellion for the women's title. So they just do a little face-to-face. Next up, promo videos about the matches at Rebellion. Swan Omega, Violent by Design versus Tommy Dreamer's team. Just going through, kind of setting it up. And then Swan comes out and he's talking, everybody's counting me out. Everybody says I don't have a chance. I'm not going to win. I'm going to shock the world, blah, blah, blah. Well, Moose, who hasn't been seen for quite a few weeks, after losing the TNA belt, comes back, gets in the ring. He's suited up from top to bottom. He looks at Swan and says, you better represent us well. You better not lose the title or you're going to have to answer to me. And Swan's like, don't worry about it. I'm gonna take it, blah, blah, blah. And then, kind of planting seeds for her, maybe a Moose Swan feud coming up here. So, anyway, we enter more hype videos, talking stuff. Seems like there was a lot of commercial breaks during this one. Go home show, not impressed at all.
It's build up, basically.
Yeah, it was pretty abysmal. I don't know if they had some, time restraint issues. I don't know. But anyway, so the main event was setting up for this match between Violent by Design and Tommy Dreamer's team. So it's Eric Young from Violent by Design and then Eddie Edwards from Dreamer's team. I'm sorry. It started out that way, and then it came into a full blown Violent by Design versus or three members of Violent by Design versus Eddie Edwards, James Storm, and Willie Mack. And then Chris Sabin ended up going. So anyway, this was your typical, it goes off. Yeah. It goes off. These guys are battling it out. You know what I mean? So it was like a lead up to a Royal Rumble. Like everybody's in the ring going at it. So anyway, that's how it went off. Super bad go home show. But hopefully it gets better after Rebellion, which I'll read the results of that to you. So next in line, Primo SmackDown from last Friday, brother. Whoa!
You know it. SmackDown last Friday opened up the show with Cesaro standing in the ring, getting ready to possibly give a promo. I guess now we'll never know, because immediately Seth Rollins comes out, interrupts him before he can even speak, says that you thought you were done with me. You're not done with me until I say you're done with me. And then he said that on Cesaro's best day, he couldn't beat Rollins on his worst day. And then shortly after, Jey Uso comes out, and he's running his mouth from last week, saying, who does Cesaro even think he is, thinking he can challenge the head of the table. And so basically, all that trash talk leads up to Rollins and Jey Uso walking towards the ring. Right around that time, Daniel Bryan comes out, heads to the ring for the save. Now you got 2v2 out there. That leads to a promo by Daniel Bryan, basically saying, you know what happened? Cowards, Rollins and Jay, because they started walking the other way now that it's even. And he basically says that Cesaro is the hardest worker on the roster, even harder worker than DB himself, and that he deserves to be in the World Championship spot, or the Universal title spot, sorry. And, I have ill will towards the Universal title, but anyhow, this turns into a tag team match player, and Cesaro and DB defeat Rollins and Jey Uso. But after the match, after Seth Rollins leaves, he's had enough of it all. You got Daniel Bryan sitting on the turnbuckle, and they continue to spin Jey Uso and basically taunt Roman Reigns, saying he's a coward, he's not going to come out. They talk some trash, see if he's going to come out. They say, he's not going to come out? Well, let's spin Jey Uso some more. So they spin him some more. And then that goes to commercial break.
Yeah.
After they come back, we had a one-on-one. Tamina defeats Nia Jax again. Nothing special. Moving on, we had an Intercontinental title match, which it's actually, if you look at it on paper, it's a big match. Apollo versus Kevin Owens. Apollo defeats Kevin Owens to retain with a little help from distraction from Commander Aziz with the Nigerian nail. Yeah, he gets, and the way he does it reminds me of Umaga. Like you think he would do it a little different, so that way I don't think of Umaga every time.
Right. Yeah. Maybe they told him to do it like him. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was like a tribute, man. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, you're right. He pulls it back and he's like, ah!
Exactly. So basically, after the match, the Nigerian nail. He gets him with the Nigerian nail, Kevin Owens, and lays him out. And after that's over, and Kevin Owens is laying in the middle of the ring, you have Sami Zayn come out. And all he does is dance.
Yeah, he just comes out and dances.
He dances around Kevin Owens.
Yep. Yeah. You see everybody posting those pictures of that T-shirt?
Yeah.
It's got all the moves on it. Yeah.
So then now they move on to Apollo talking backstage of, basically, I said this was going to happen. You don't put the champ out there, and I told you this was going to happen. And Big E attacks Apollo while Commander Aziz is distracted, and was able to get over on Apollo real quick, and then get out of dodge before Commander Aziz shows up. The next thing was probably the most interesting thing on the whole show, which I texted you about it sometime last week.
Yep.
Was they played the Aleister Black video that he posted on his Instagram.
Yeah.
Which tells me he's returning soon.
Yes. Thank you.
So that's exciting. Yeah.
Thank you.
That is very exciting. Was he on SmackDown before?
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe so.
I remember him on Raw, but I couldn't remember if he got moved over there during the shakeup.
Yeah.
Afterwards, the Mysterios defeat Alpha Academy again. They're trying to build up the tag team division on SmackDown. Honestly, right now, I'm happy with Rude and Ziggler keeping the belts, because I don't think anybody should take them.
I like at first I didn't. I like the titles being on them now.
Yeah. The Dirty Dogs.
The Dirty Dogs.
It was announced that next Friday we're going to get the rematch, the WrestleMania rematch, which you think they'd do this at Backlash, but I guess not. Apollo versus Big E for the IC title. That's coming up this Friday. The final segment was basically Roman Reigns told Cesaro he'll never be on his level, and that he makes the challenges around here.
Yep.
You don't come challenge the head of the table. And then he says, I make the challenges. And next week on SmackDown, I challenge you, Daniel Bryan. And he looks over to Daniel Bryan instead of the guy who's right in front of him.
Right, yeah.
And I thought, for half a second, Daniel Bryan was going to be like, no, he deserves it. But, everybody's going to take a championship match.
Right,
so Daniel Bryan was like, I accept. And that was the end of that.
And then he's smiling like awkwardly so big. I'm like, come on, man, get a little serious. Like, he was smiling.
Like, we know, obviously, Daniel Bryan's not going to win the championship on the SmackDown whenever they're trying to build up Cesaro's feud.
Yeah.
But I guess. So, anyway, that's how SmackDown ended.
Okay. So that was Friday. So Saturday, I watched a little Ring of Honor for the first time in a little while that to just kind of catch up with what's going on there. Got some things I'll talk about that later, but next up Sunday was the Impact / AEW Rebellion pay-per-view. So just want to run over what happened with those. First match for the X Division title was Josh Alexander, Ace Austin, and TJP. Josh Alexander, new champ, X Division champ, since he won the belt. So this is the first belt post the North since he was with him and Ethan Page. So next up, Violent by Design beats which ended up being James Storm, Saban, Willie Mack, and Edwards. So Dreamer ended up not being side by side. So, all right, the big Matt Cardona, Brian Myers feud blow off. Brian Myers wins with the roster cut, man. Yeah, so we'll see if that one kind of lingers on. I felt like that feud. I hope this ain't the blow off. Really, I felt like they could have did so much more of that. Seemed like they rushed to it a little too soon. But
I think also when I was watching the match that when Matt Cardona started, his knee hurt. They really kept selling that 2016 when he hurt his knee, his patella.
Yes.
And
I
thought he was playing possum. And then, well, I guess he wasn't. So
yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean, Kurt Hawk or whatever his name is, he tried to help him. Yeah, Brian Myers went to go help him up, the friendly assist, and then the rest is history.
Yep. So next match was a last man standing match. Trey Miguel defeated Sammy. Kind of seen this one coming. This was the blow off to the proof that Trey still has his passion. They did a little skit right before where Trey is like he's sitting with his wrestling coach, and he's like, they don't know what we do here. They don't know the sweat and the blood that we pour in here, saying that he has passion that he and his coach was like, all right, well, now you just got to go out there and show it, So Trey beats that. Next match, Finn Juice retains the Impact Tag Team titles against Good Brothers. So no tour yet for the Good Brothers.
Nope.
So they got a plan there with this, I think. So Finn Juice must have did really well over there with the titles. So I'm thinking they probably might be maybe going to do another tour with him, or maybe later Finn Juice is going to defend them, again, maybe later. So, but anyway, next match, Deonna Purrazzo kept the women's knockouts is what they call it, knockouts title over Tenille Dashwood, and then we head into the main event, the one they've been talking about for quite a while, Omega and Swan.
Yeah, what we said was going to happen.
Yeah, what we said was going to happen. Yep. Awesome back and forth match. There was a little bit of outside shenanigans and stuff going on, and I felt like they built Swan up pretty good here because he hit him with that first V trigger. I'm like, oh, okay, he's not going to do the one winged angel. Then they're going to kind of prove a point because Callis has been talking about this one-winged angel too much, this and that. So anyway, Swan kicks out of the first V-trigger. Well, he takes another one, sets up to the one-winged angel. Boom. Kenny Omega, new Impact champion. Show goes off. He's got both straps. So he'll be taking the title down to AEW, and there will be showing that off, I'm sure, and as they've been showing off the AEW title on Impact. So the only thing I've seen on AEW so far was the Impact tag titles. So tonight could be the world title.
Right, and I like how the whole pay-per-view, it felt like is basically Impact was trying to protect their territory. Mm-hmm. And, they had the segment with Tony Khan and freaking old Team Canada dude. And he was like, Tony Khan was like, well, we do what we want kind of thing. And he brought my ref. We're going to do this our way.
Aubrey,
and the whole time they're just like, we hope that Rich Swann is able to retain, so that way our title doesn't leave our show type deal. But
yeah. So it'll be interesting to see where they go with that. I like the interchangeable parts going on. That's why Mega's been my favorite champ lately. Since we started doing it, because just for this reason of how he kind of can mold all this together. But here's my thing, man. Impact, I feel like, is going to stay the same. Until we get back to fans, then I think they're really going to see that this is really kind of paying off for them. So, but I want to see fans everywhere in all wrestling. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. So that was Sunday night, actually, pay-per-view last week. So Primo, Raw Monday, and then last night's NXT.
Raw Monday, we had the show opener where basically it comes down to the unmasked Mason T-Bar come out. Now they're unmasked and they have this tribal looking paint on their face.
Yep.
And they do this
vibes.
Yeah, they do this little promo where they're like, they're destroyers. We're gonna come after. You're gonna take down everybody. Anyway, they defeat Braun and Drew via countout. So once again, Braun and Drew are thwarted, and it's because, they couldn't get along. Braun ends up laying out Drew after the match, which then turns into them wanting a singles match later in the night. Next up, we got Miz TV out there again. Now, I like Miz, and I like Miz TV whenever it's not promoting Miz and Mrs. every single week.
Same.
So that's what he's been doing 3 weeks straight, and for 3 weeks straight, we've had Damian Priest come out and interrupt him, and the only funny part about this was Damian Priest and New Day came out after Miz and Morrison, Elias and Riker did this little performance, and they started throwing tomatoes at him, which was kind of funny.
That was pretty funny, yeah.
So then New Day and Damian Priest defeat those guys. Next up was the interesting part of Raw. You got a little tension in the Raw management between Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville. Sonya Deville sneakily goes to the back door, lets in none other than the Queen herself, who's supposed to be suspended.
Right.
She lets her in. They go straight to the ring. Sonya says Adam Pearce's punishment of Charlotte was a little too fast, hasty, and harsh, and that she wanted to give Charlotte her side of the story. Or she wanted Charlotte to give her side of the story. Charlotte basically, she apologizes to the ref. It was a half-hearted apology. You could tell she was just saying it to say it. And then, the part I found funny, though, was she told the ref, she said, "I'm sorry that I manhandled you."
Yeah.
I was like, well, she did. She, made you look like a wimp.
Right.
And so he accepts the apology, and then he says something like, I'm sorry, last week was my mistake. Or no, I accept your apology, last week was my mistake. Had I seen what happened, you would have got the victory. And then so Charlotte, remember, she heard that, she couldn't let it go. She says, wait. He said it was his mistake. He needs to apologize to me now.
Yeah.
So she made him apologize.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. So she made him apologize, and Sonya reinstates Charlotte to the roster, and so Charlotte, she was never actually suspended, basically.
Yeah. Yep.
Backstage, you got a little bit more tension. So after that, you see the tension between Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville. He's like, what the heck happened there? We didn't talk about this. You went behind my back type deal. And Sonya's like, what? Oh, I meant to say something, but she looks like she's gonna do her own thing. Which is kind of cool. I kind of like that.
Yeah, the heel GMs are the best ones.
For sure.
They make you hate them.
So this, my favorite champion at the moment, Sheamus, comes out He talks about issuing his open challenge. Talks about how last week, Humberto Carrillo is what he calls him, or what's it called? He talks about how he answered the challenge. You saw what happened to him. You know, anybody else that wants some, come out, and same thing will happen to you. I like that he's doing this. I like that he comes out. I like the way he looks right now. He basically he looks like a brawler, right?
Sure. Yep.
And he's also like,
he's like an Irish gangster to me.
He's like, you come out here, I'm gonna whip your butt. And also, by the way, I'm letting you know ahead of time, it's not for the championship.
Right, yeah. I'm just gonna do it for fun because I like to.
So I like his whole thing right now. Anyway, Carrillo ends up answering a second time, and this time around, Humberto Carrillo is able to get one over on Sheamus. So that's obviously going to lead up to them having a match, an actual match to where the bell can ring.
Sure, for the title.
So this next part is my favorite moment of the entire week.
Okay.
And you got Matt Riddle in backstage talking to I forget the interviewer's name, but he was just asking Matt about last week. He's like, oh, bro, it was like a dream come true. I wrestled Randy Orton. He's like, the Legend Killer, the Apex Predator. I don't know what that means, but the Apex Predator. And he's like, it was awesome. And then Randy Orton comes up, and I love their dynamic so much because Randy's like grouchy old man.
Yeah. Riddle's like the scrappy little dog next to the big dog. Like, come on, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?
He's like, look, Riddle. Last week, you kind of, you gained my respect a little bit, and I kind of made some moves and got us a tag team match. And he's like, oh yeah, RK Bro in full effect, and then Randy's just like, shh, be quiet. It's like no more talking.
You guys, it's too soon for that. Not yet.
Yeah, he's like, can you stop talking?
Let's have a match first.
Yeah. He's like, we'll get to the nicknames after. Yeah. So I love that. I love what they're doing. It's probably my favorite thing in wrestling right now, just because it's just so funny to me to see super serious Randy Orton with hilarious Matt Riddle, and their dynamic is just funny. So next up, you get backstage segment again with Nia Jax and talking to Reggie and Shayna about everything that's been going on with them. And out comes Angel Garza again, Mr. Suave.
Rico Suave
gives Nia them flowers. I think he kissed her hand, and was just like, so he's making moves there. I'm not sure what he's doing, but
I feel like that's going to be some sort of like infiltration, like Carmella is putting him up to this or something, like
right. So yeah, because it was right after. I don't even know. Like I was just acting tough or what? Because you could tell she likes it. But immediately after that, she like smacked the crap out of Mandy with the flowers, and they just explode everywhere.
Right. Yeah.
So then moving on, we had the match between RK Bro, was they're already called that. That's how it is forever. With Cedric and Shelton, which is always cool to see Randy Orton and Shelton together. They were in OVW together.
OVW, yeah.
So and people
FCW too
forget about that, and it's just it's awesome.
Yeah.
When they were wrestling, it made me remember Raw in the 2000s with Shelton, and when he would go against Shawn Michaels, and because he's so athletic. When one of the Money in the Bank ladder matches where he scaled the ladder.
Right.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of things, man, that like people have forgotten about.
So anyway, Randy Orton and Matt Riddle have a great tag team match. They defeat Cedric and Shelton. Afterwards, Matt Riddle gets down the mat, he does the thing, and he wants Randy Orton to get behind him.
Yeah, he's like...
Randy's like, not yet. Not yet, kid.
And then he runs up on the turnbuckle.
Yeah. And it's funny is because, like, I feel like it's Riddle's like, let's see how much we can make Randy Orton laugh this time.
I know, yeah. Trying to make him break.
Yeah, because as he's going up the ramp, he's like almost laughing.
Yeah, trying to hold it back.
So next we had, first of all, I didn't realize that Rhea Ripley was a heel, but she was teamed with Nia and Shayna, and they defeated Asuka, Naomi, and Lana.
I don't know that they've established that yet, but just by the gimmick.
I mean, she's supposed to be, but it's
yeah.
You
She's
can't be a heel and then go on NXT one week and be like, oh, look at us, we're champions, and then, everybody like me, and then, I'm also a heel, by the way. This is my mentality.
Yeah. What shirt you got on? Mania 6?
Mania
Warrior?
6. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
There's somebody was talking Macho Man earlier.
Oh, that's
This is 6, right? Yeah, 6.
Yeah, 6. Yeah, that was Hogan Warrior.
The Rowdy one.
Rowdy Boss Man.
Yeah. Then you got Heart Foundation and Barber and Snake.
Nice.
So, moving on, we had Alexis Playground. Honestly, I'm growing tired of this.
I was about to say the same thing, Primo. I'm over it, dude.
Yeah.
Like, let's do something with it or scrap it.
I feel like every week she's adding more black eye makeup.
Yeah.
She looked like a raccoon this time.
They're getting wider.
She basically says that it's time that she lets Lily out and play with everybody else. So basically, she's going to start terrorizing the rest of the women's locker room, I guess, is my interpretation of that. After that, we had Charlotte's match. She defeats Mandy Rose. There was a couple instances in there where she looked like she was going to, when the ref would count and it wasn't 3 count, she looked like she was kind of going to go off on him, but she didn't, type deal.
Yeah.
But she defeated Mandy Rose, and that was the end of that. So.
And then she makes them do the ropes.
She looks like she's such a good heel. She's like,
I know, man. Yeah.
And what's funny is by this point, everybody should know, and she's just like, hey.
Right.
So anyway, main event. It was established earlier in the day. Braun Strowman versus Drew McIntyre. If Braun wins, he earns his way into the Triple Threat match at WrestleMania Backlash for the World Championship against Bobby Lashley, the Almighty Bobby Lashley.
So is that a week from this Sunday? Is that what it is?
I believe so. Yeah, it's coming up.
Yeah, it's not this Sunday though.
No,
after, I think.
So Braun Strowman ends up defeating Drew McIntyre. They do a couple things in this match because they want it to be a singles competition. So they do a couple things where they kind of try to get Drew to go over, but it ends up not being that way. Braun decks MVP at one point, and then he ends up defeating Drew McIntyre. I mean, that's the end of that. There wasn't anything crazy to it. Yeah. He won. He gets to be in the Triple Threat match, and that was the end of Raw.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, pretty, not a whole lot, going on there, but.
Mediocre. Arcade Bro is my favorite part, for sure.
Setup. That is pretty good right now, yeah. It's turned from funny Riddle to, annoying, and now it's, getting funny again,
Yeah, so you have this in the past. I mean, this isn't the first time they've had Odd Couple together.
Right.
And a lot of times when they get an Odd Couple together, they end up being an awesome tag team. And honestly, Randy Orton, first of all, when's the last time Randy Orton did a tag team run? I bet he's thinking, he could probably go to the back at any time and be like, hey, I want some gold now. And
I know, right?
He's like, I haven't held the tag championship in a while. So that's basically where I see this going.
Yeah.
Moving on, we have NXT on Tuesday. This is our last show of the week now, since all the shows moved around.
Yeah. They've rescheduled to every show has a certain day now.
Show opener, we got Mercedes Martinez out there defeating Dakota Kai via DQ because Raquel Gonzalez came in and attacked her during the match, and then proceeded to beat the snot out of her after the match. That's a build-up for their NXT Women's Championship match. Next up, you have Grizzled Young Veterans.
Soon to be recognized.
In the ring, giving their promo about the tag division, giving them basically talking about MSK. Still don't know what that means, but
that was my question. That's our goal.
We got to figure it out.
Next Wednesday, we got to figure out what MSK means.
So so they were talking about MSK, dogging them, talking about the tag team division. You know how they are the soon.
Yeah.
And Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher come out. And, we can see these promos week after week with these guys in the back. They finally came out and interrupt them before proceeding to beat them down. And so basically, Ciampa and Thatcher are now in the tag team picture as well. Next up, you have Toni Storm cutting a promo about how she is going to end Zoe Stark. She's going to completely eradicate her from NXT. She's done with her.
Love me some Toni Storm, boy.
Yeah, I mean, I got to agree with you.
Love me some Toni.
Yeah. What I will say about Toni is that she was in a match next after that and ended up losing to Zeta Ramir, which was supposed to be this rookie job. Was supposed to be an easy victory for Toni, but she was distracted by Zoe Stark on the ramp.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're going to build that one up big time before they have the blowout. Next up, you got, this was announced last week. You have Bronson Reed and Austin Theory have their match basically to determine if Bronson Reed will go forward and have his North American title match against Johnny Gargano. During the match, Dexter Lumis comes out, and Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae kind of go, stage left quick, and he just follows Indy around the ring. Yeah. And she's kind of like, no.
Right, like, don't do it. Don't follow me.
And then as they get in the ring, or Indy gets in the ring, and then they look like they're going to have a moment like they did last week, and Austin goes to get her, and Dexter ends up moving her out of the way and saving her.
Mm-hmm.
So
what a guy.
Bronson Reed ends up getting the victory, so he will go on to face Johnny Gargano for the North American title match.
I always think of Dark Order when Bronson Reed does that. I just want him to go. Yeah. I always think Dark Order for some reason.
So, cool thing, they show, which is kind of funny to show this, but after a guy loses the NXT championship, they showed his Instagram post of him chilling on the beach. And Finn Balor, by the way.
Yeah.
And they basically announced he is returning next week. So he's going to be coming back off vacation. He's not just sitting around mourning about his loss, apparently.
Right.
Next up, we had Imperium defeat Drake and Killian Dane. It was they've been having some, Drake has been kind of questioned. He's like, oh, you're just going to go off and join Imperium, and, I'm going to be by myself, little chihuahua. And Killian showed his allegiance to Drake during this match, and they still ended up losing.
Yeah.
But that's basically what came out of that. Yeah.
Lovable losers.
Next up, you had a match between Robert Stone's two girls. They were already in the ring. And then Shotzi and Ember came out for their match. As they were coming out for their match, The Way comes out. Candice and Indy come out and attack them. And they go to attacking them until they are unable to compete. So basically what happened is Shotzi and Ember had gotten some flour. They got some packages, care packages or whatever, and Candice LeRae and the rest of the way convinced Indy that Dexter was giving them to her. So Indy's super jealous, and she just tees off on him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you want her to like him, or do you want her to like it? See, they're like using her emotions.
Yeah, and they're tinkering too. Like, which way do we want to go with this? I feel like. Yeah.
Next up, they have a segment interview with Adam Cole, basically saying how, boom, and basically how he says that people are saying, he says he hears the stirs, and he hears people saying that Kyle O'Reilly's the new face of the NXT. I didn't say that, but people are saying it. And he said that Kyle O'Reilly can never replace him, and he's basically, when he decides to come back, he'll do what he wants, whether he wants to take out Kyle O'Reilly, whether he wants to go for the NXT championship. He said, I'm always honest. Karrion Kross is all right. And then he goes, like, he ends it with, he starts dogging the interviewer. He's like, it's hot out here, and you made me wait. He's like, this is a terrible way to give interviews. You suck, basically. And he's basically being a drama queen.
Yeah.
And then he walks off camera. And the final match at NXT, we had Legado del Fantasma taking on MS Kushida, which was MSK and Kushida together. MSK. And so it was your tag champs and your cruiserweight champ against Legado, and they ended up. So there's a time in this match whenever what's his name? Nash Carter is outside, and so is Kushida. They're both outside the ring, and they get laid out. Kushida gets put through the table. Nash Carter gets laid out by the barricade, and Wesley was in there defending himself against the entire Legado del Fantasma.
Yep.
And before too long, push comes to shove, and Legado ends up winning the main event. And that's how we went off the air for NXT on Tuesday night.
Yeah, they needed a win. It'd been, the main leader guy of Fantasma.
Escobar, the Emperor of Lucha Libre.
Thank you. I couldn't remember his name. Yeah, it's he's had wins, but his cronies haven't had a win in a little while, so they kind of needed that one. So.
I felt really silly for not noticing this until you said it a few weeks ago. That I forget his name, not Wild, but the other, maybe it is Wild. It's DJ Zima.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, that is. I didn't even like.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He used to be with Robbie E.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's when I used to watch TNA a lot.
Yeah, and Jesse Goddard's. Yeah. Yep. Thanks for the follow, Crowns here. Appreciate it. All right, so that's the recap for the last week. So back to AEW tonight. So we'll see how that all runs back up here. All right, so we've talked about this kind of briefly here, but the A&E WWE biography so far, Stone Cold 2 weeks ago, Roddy last week, Macho Man is this week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so those are going to be awesome. But, like me and Primo said, they're great biographies. They're presented in a different light. If you're a wrestling fan, like me and Primo said, you know a lot of this stuff, but it's presented differently because of the stories from the wrestlers from that time, and they're kind of taking you back to certain points in time, in wrestling, and kind of what was going on and why these guys got to where they did. Different setup, man. It was good.
I really liked Stone Cold's. Obviously, as a Stone Cold fan, at this point in my wrestling life, I've seen everything Stone Cold a million times. I've seen all of his docs, and I still enjoyed this one. It was good. Yeah. The way they presented it, the way he's he's kind of reflecting back on a bunch of stuff. I like how they had his family in there, his brothers.
Yep. It's weird too because you see a little bit of Steve in them.
Yeah.
Which, we all do, but we know Steve as, Stone Cold. So
yeah, and I think it's awesome. And I've heard that story before too. Whenever he talks about how he went to the promotion and he's like, they're like, "What's your name, kid?" He's like, "Oh, I'm Steve Williams." He goes, "Well, you can't be Steve Williams. We have Dr. Death Steve Williams.
Dr. Death, yeah.
So you need to change it to right now."
Yeah.
And so the way he came up with some of that stuff, how his wife was just like, "You're Stone Cold. That's your name."
Yep.
I'm
old enough to remember the ringmaster.
Steve. Oh yeah, and the $1 million belt and all that.
Yeah.
And but I really enjoyed the Roddy Piper one.
Yeah. And Roddy, probably he's on the short list of greatest wrestlers to never hold the world title because he didn't need it. He had it all. He talked, he walked, he wrestled. He could piss you off. He could make you love him.
Yeah, and Vince even talks about it when he was like, when they first brought him to WWF, he was like, well, he wasn't very big. He wouldn't, because back then everybody was 6 foot something over 250. So he was like, he wasn't the size of all the other wrestlers, but he was, his talent was, make him do something, and that's why they did Piper's Pit.
Yeah, that's how that whole thing
which became legendary in itself. So,
oh god, so much stuff happened on Piper's Pit, man.
They talked about the coconut with Snuka.
The Snuka, yeah, the working coconut.
Yeah, he's like, he didn't grab the right one.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah. Oh man, I love stories like that, man. It's so great. Yeah,
and like go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that just reminds me of the working guitar. Honky Tonk and Jake the Snake. It was,
Right. I like also how they talked about how he had real heat with Mr. T.
Yeah.
Because back then you worked so hard to get in the main event and you pay your dues, and it's just for a celebrity to step in there like that.
Yeah, and
how they talked about how he kicked, or Cyndi Lauper's manager asked him to kick her in the face.
Yeah. Roddy, he was one of those guys, he's got legendary stories like Harley Race and Stan Hansen. They protected the business at all costs, and anybody that disrespected it had to deal with them. And so that was why he had such a problem with Mr. T. But yeah, man, those are solid. Like, they're rewatchable. You know what I mean? You can definitely go back and watch them. So I don't know how many of these they're doing, but yeah, that's gonna be awesome. And then
I'll be pretty excited to see the Macho Man one.
Yeah, that will be good too.
His brother's gonna be on there.
Oh yeah, Leaping Lanny.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up, man, I was just talking about Ring of Honor over the weekend, and just some guys that kind of jump out at me, some random notes. I told Primo this. Mike Bennett, who used to be on WWE with
Mike Kanellis.
Mike Kanellis, yep. He's back on the indies. He's taking some indie bookings. So, he was a great indie wrestler. I loved him in ROH in the Kingdom with Matt Taven. So, that was awesome. So I'm glad to see him back. Hornswoggle has a Twitch. Primo.
Really?
And, I watched him. He was playing baseball last night, like everybody else in the world.
He should join the league. Come on, Swoggle.
Yeah. Hornswoggle,
I'll kick somebody out of the league to let him in.
He was doing like a Monday hot takes. He was just playing baseball and just giving opinions on stuff, man. So,
yeah, man. Yeah. We got this guy Jet Dryer. He's trash in my league, so I'll kick him out of the league and let Hornswoggle in.
Oh yeah, Jet's easily replaceable for sure. Yeah, nobody. Yeah, man, that's interesting. But yeah, his Twitch is Dylan Postal, which is his
real name. Yeah,
DYLNPOSTL, I think. But yeah, I started following him and I watched him for probably 15-20 minutes last night, just playing baseball.
That's really interesting. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and then we were talking about earlier, Charlotte. She's posting all these like racy pics, and she's show a little more skin on a lot of pictures. And I just thought it was interesting over the weekend. A little bit of the headlines was Andrade. He's been piping back at some internet trolls for yeah. So so I've read some of those. So you could probably go look him up and see some of his comments.
So he hasn't been just sitting down here lately, huh?
Yeah, no. And I did see earlier where his first match has been announced. I think it's in Mexico. Not 100% sure, but I think it's in Mexico. So just some quick little notes there. So, but yeah, me and Primo running the show today. Man, we're missing AJ. He'll be back with us next week. But our sponsor, as always, Rowdy Energy, got the chiseled ice with the strawberry lemonade. Cheers, sir. Thanks to those guys. www.coastlandapparel.com. Go check those guys out, man. Use that promo code you see right there on your screen, Bird TV, for 15% off, man. They just dropped some new merch. It's they got some new shirts, some new hats, and really dropping a lot of stuff for the end of for spring and summer coming up. American Outlaw, hey brother, appreciate you coming in. Always glad to see you in here, man. Love American Outlaw. Thank you, sir, for tweeting out the stream here. So as we start to head towards the end of the show here today, like I talked about, it's going to be just a condensed show here today. We'll be back full-blown show next week with AJ here. So also, too, I was watching ROH this weekend. We have some new signings with them. Homicide, a legendary ECW indie wrestler. LAX, yep, he's on with ROH. Probably the toughest man in wrestling, and I'm not even joking. This son of a gun's as tough as they come, man. Chris Dickinson, this dude he's as stiff as Sheamus. Like him versus Sheamus would be a really hard match. Yeah, so Chris Dickinson, yeah, he's tough as nails, man. He's built like a brick house. He looks the part. He is he's a old-fashioned wrestler that knows how to wrestle new school, man. He's tough. He's going to be awesome there. Tony Deppen, he's been on the indies for quite a while. He's really making a name on the indies. He's a very popular guy right now. He's just signed with them, so they're stacking up their roster a little bit. So all those guys collectively with Brody King are starting a faction. Didn't catch the name of it. I don't know what it is, but, they were kind of like introducing themselves and, we're here to take over kind of deal, like when a faction's being formed, what they say. So, but yeah, that will just about close it here for the show today. Like I said, condensed show. We kind of just want to cover everything. Thanks everybody for tuning in, man. We appreciate it so much. Appreciate the support. AJ will be back here with us. We got a lot of things planned coming up soon. We're still going to do that Starrcade 85 watch along. We'll have that coming up soon. Dark Side of the Ring is starting up soon. I think it's this week. They're starting off with
6th, I think.
Is it the 6th? Okay, they're starting off with a 2-part Brian Pillman.
Yeah, I saw that.
Brian, yeah. So that'll be fun.
I saw the Hollywood. Actually, I saw the trailer for it. I was going to send it to you. I don't know if you saw it, but they unveiled the trailer.
Oh, did they? Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Wow, that's going to be a lot of awesome in-depth. Yeah, you're right. May 6th. I had it written down right there. Yeah. So, all right. So yeah, we're gonna be watching some videos coming up soon. Hopefully, we're gonna do some watch-alongs. We're gonna do our normal show here. We're gonna have guests on. We got some awesome topics coming up for the Dropkick discussion of the week.
Absolutely.
So stay tuned, guys. It's going to be fun, man. We're going to ramp it back up here next week with AJ coming back. So hope everybody enjoyed today's show. Thanks again to our sponsors, Rowdy and Coastland Apparel. Appreciate those guys all supporting us here. Congrats to the Kurt Angle champ, still Primo over there. Tomorrow night, guys, if you're into racing, if you know anything about my channel here, I do a ton of races. Tomorrow night is one of my side races that I put on. I'm doing Dirty Birds Chicagoland Team Challenge. I got 6 different leagues, 3 different drivers from every league. 18 drivers. It's going to be a great race, man. Tune in right here, 8 o'clock, 7 Central tomorrow night. So, Primo, if you got anything else, man, we're going to wrap it up here today.
No, I think that about does it. We covered everything we needed to cover for this week. We will be back live and in person next Wednesday.
All right, guys, stay tuned, man. Appreciate all you guys tuning in here, man. Got a lot of stuff planned. Stay tuned. Episode 8 next week. We're already at 7. That'll be
2 months in. That was quick.
Yeah. 2 months in. Yeah. Keep rolling. See you guys next time.